How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about BBIG, which ended up having a pullback in the market, being down around 5.17% on the day. If you remember what I talked about yesterday, we were looking for areas for it to fill in the gap. We're also looking to see if there was going to be some strength, where would those possible levels be? So now I'm going to give you guys an update, get you prepared for tomorrow. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for BBIG. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $2.75, being down 5.17%. On the low, it tested $2.68, and then on the high, testing $3.01. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 30.332 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 32.134 million shares. So we had below average volume on the day, and we also seen a slight pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 51.83. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, but we are above the 21-day EMA. We're also above the 50-day, and we're also below the 100-day. So I was saying in the previous video that we have a gap that needs to be filled right here around 260. We ended up seeing a low of 268. So we didn't fill in that gap as of yet, but one thing that was clear though, there was demand. I saw that when we got down to 268, then we ended up making a run going all the way to around 296. So we see there was a good amount of buying that was happening. Of course, it gave up some of those gains because it did close at $2.75. But going into tomorrow, if we continue to have some weakness, I'm looking for BBIG to fill in the gap. And once it fills in that gap, I think it'll be healthy for the chart. And then we can look forward to seeing some consolidation or getting ready for the next move up. And what is that going to look like? So the level that I would be keeping a very close eye on will be at that 100-day at $2.84. Fill in that gap, make that move to 284, and then seeing if we can go testing $3. We did end up seeing that as far as for the high of the day. So that's why I'm saying it's very possible for BBIG to do this, especially as we get closer to the record date. This is very important. And the moment we can get to $3 and we can hold it down in that particular area, that's where I want to see if we can make a pop going to the 200-day moving average at $3.92. This is a lot to ask, and we need to have strength in the market to actually see this. But before we even get there, you guys know that $3.80 is definitely going to be a key level to keep on watch as well. Now, let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for BBIG. So for the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 52.20%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 13.34 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 85,000, updated just now, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it's at 35.19%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 6th, it was at 55.85, and then for the close of the 9th, being at 52.20. So what does this show us when we take into consideration the short interest percentage of the float being at 15.25%? BBIG does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for BBIG. So we see here on the inflow, it was at 20.39 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 16.55 million. So we had an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 5.25 million. On the medium, it was 11.73 million, and then on the small, it was 3. 3.41 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 2.06 million, on the medium it was 11.46 million, and then on the small it was 3.03 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for May the 10th, which is today, we had that big inflow of 3.19 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling, but it was still fairly close. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had a lot more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 16.17%. So this is not too bad for a volatile stock like BBIG. We saw a lot of volatility in the markets as well. And we do know since this stock has had its recent spike, we have a lot of profit taking that is going on. So let's move on to the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for BBIG, when it comes to the price action, again, we were looking for it to fill in the gap to the downside around $2.60. It did not do that. It ended up seeing a low of $2.68, and then it ripped all the way up to $2.96 and then started cooling off going into the close. So as far as for tomorrow is concerned, I would love for us to just fill in this gap and get it out of the way. And once we're able to fill in that gap, then I'd want to see a move going to around $2.84, which is where we have the 100-day moving average. We know if we can have that price action above 280, we make that move to $3, we know it is a psychological area. And then after getting to $3, the big move that we want to get to is at 380. And then seeing a possible test at the 200-day moving average at 392. But here's the thing. We can't ignore the market conditions. So we have CPI numbers that are going to be coming out for tomorrow. So if we have a strong sell-off inside of the market, of course BBIG is going to be impacted by this. We also have to understand, if you want to get your Cryptide shares, you need to be a BBIG shareholder up until May the 18th. So will we have some FOMO coming into the play? Hey, that's what I would love to see. But we also can't forget the fact of what's going on. And like I said, the market conditions. I want to see this stock move up. I want to see you guys make some big money here, but take advantage of those dips when they do occur. Inside of the Discord, we had one of the members by the name of Patrick. You know, I had to shout you out in this one. He ended up getting in with a position at $2.68. And again, had that opportunity to ride that stock up when it made that high to $2.96. And this is how you make money, having a strategy, having a game plan. And also what I want to remind you guys of, if BBIG does decide to pull back, because I just gave you what it looked like on the upside, fill in that gap at 260, and then you want to see if it pulls back to 250. But if it could hold above this level and just consolidate, it's still showing a lot of strength because, like I said, there's a lot of demand in the market and everyone knows what the deal is in regards to the spinoff and so forth. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information, BBIG does have short squeeze potential. But in order for us to actually force the short squeeze, we have to have buying pressure. We have to have buying volume. And there's so much uncertainty and as well as fear in these markets. We had a strong spike not too long ago, and I was telling you guys, make sure that you are protecting your profits. And we are continuing to sell off. So if you're deciding to stick inside this play to see what can happen as we go into May the 18th, by all means, make sure that you're understanding the risk and you know what you're getting yourself involved in. And use the right risk management. Protect yourself to the downside. It's your initial investment. It's that money that you're putting into the play. The last thing that you want to do is go out and lose it because you are being careless, or you're going to go ahead and follow the crowd because they're telling you that this stock is going to go to the moon while you see your money evaporate. Again, protect yourself. This is very key. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how BBIG performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.